Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, we're going to be talking about the Arbalest, the brand new exotic linear fusion rifle that is unique in as such as it can be equipped in your kinetic slot, not your heavy slot. So it's a linear fusion that can actually take special ammo and be a part of your normal loadout. So this thing, it's probably going to take you between 3 and 4 hours to acquire from start to finish. It took me about just a little over 3 hours. So some of that was solo queue, some of that was with a team farming the Infinite Forest. But this is available during the Revelry event. I don't know if they will bring back an opportunity to acquire it after the event, but the good news is this event is 3 weeks long, so you got plenty of time to get in there and knock this thing out. You just have to complete any 7 Revelry triumphs. So you can knock most of them out in the Infinite Forest just in a couple of hours of just running through in general and farming your melee kills and your precision kills, your super kills, and creating orbs and stuff like that. Do some things in strikes, and you know, a couple of I don't know, maybe 15 minutes it took me in a raid just farming things. You can do it at the Leviathan, you can do it at the Shirochi checkpoint is a great place as well. But anyways, you can acquire this thing pretty quickly, 3 to 4 hours of time investment to get the Arbalest. As you can see in the gameplay, I love this thing. I wasn't sure if I would like it. I do like it quite a bit. And I think that it will be a regular part of my loadout. I had an absolute riot today, just doming fools with this thing, and it absolutely deletes people in the Crucible. So let's talk about this. You're going to want, first and foremost, let's just get a couple things out of the way. First and foremost, you're going to want to try and scour through your armor for linear fusion scavenger perks. I'm usually just delete armor pieces with linear fusion scavenger on it, because linear fusions aren't a regular part of my routine. I've gotten away from using them in Gambit as well, so there's nowhere that I really use them. So I had to really scour through the vault and some stuff just to find some armor that had some linear fusion scavenger on it. So keep your eye out for some of that armor, because you're going to want to have it, since this is going to be your special weapon in the Crucible if you have it equipped. So let's talk about pairings. This thing pairs really well with the Recluse. You know, I used the Recluse most of the time in conjunction with the Arbalest today. They just complement each other really, really well. You know, you get a body shot, you swap to the Recluse, and you clean the kill up, and now you've got a buffed Recluse, right, with Feeding Frenzy active. So it's a really good combination. You could also do a hand cannon. I tend to prefer tossing on, like, my preference is I love 110s and I love 150s, and I like the occasional 140, and I really don't care for 180s. I know they're the best, but I just don't care for them. But you can get away with any hand cannon, would couple pretty well with this. In terms of armor, Chromatic Fire. I loved using Chromatic Fire with this. I got a ton of multi-kills using Chromatic Fire. Sometimes Chromatic Fire will one-hit kill opponents next to the guy that you dome. Sometimes it'll just prime up a guy nearby, and then I can just go for the body shot to clean up guy number 2 instead of having to go for the headshot. So Chromatic Fire is a fantastic thing to pair with the Arbalest. Lucky Pants, if you're going to use a hand cannon in conjunction with this in your energy slot, then Lucky Pants are a great choice. You can swap to your hand cannon after taking a shot, whether you hit or you miss with the Arbalest, and then have opening shot basically right there on your first shot with the hand cannon. So that's a good option as well. I did also like using Armamentarium, and I would lead a lot of my engagements with a flashbang grenade and sort of prime my target with a little bit of damage, but also disorient them, because that kind of helps to combat one of the biggest weaknesses with the Arbalest, and that is the flinch, right? If they shoot me first, my reticle's bouncing. It's really hard to land your shot. So if I lead with a flashbang, that often opens me up to get a really easy kill with the Arbalest. It's going to do 414 damage to the head on a standard Guardian in the Crucible. It's going to do about 153 damage to armored supers in the Crucible. And there's plenty of footage in this gameplay of me shutting down supers with this thing, because it does do a lot of damage to them. And, you know, 2 shots with a single put a super down. I shut down all kinds of supers. Included in here is a nice spectral shutdown, where basically it's just I domed the spectral with the Arbalest, and then just chucked a grenade right at my feet. And as he's bum rushing me, he comes into the grenade and it blows up and kills him. So it is actually pretty good for shutting down supers in that regard, because target acquisition with this thing is pretty easy because of the scope. The sight on it is pretty close quarters. It's not, you know, a scope like a sniper that has heavy zoom. So making rapid adjustments to drag the reticle onto a charging super's head is, you know, it's a lot easier than it is with a sniper rifle, that's for sure. The hitboxes seem to be pretty generous with this thing. The trade-off is that the aim assist at range is pretty stinking low. So this thing really was made for sort of up-in-your-face precision kills. So keep that in mind when you're at long ranges. You're not going to get a lot of aim assist off of this thing, as if you're trying to counter-snipe somebody with a sniper rifle, you're usually at a disadvantage at range. They can get instantaneous damage on you because it's hit scan, right? It's not a charge-up thing. They just pull a trigger and you're done. So you're kind of at a disadvantage at range in that regard. Also, they're going to have a lot more aim assist on you than you're going to have on them at those long ranges. So try and keep it at medium range and even close range. There's two vibes I get off this gun that I really like. One of them is it feels like a real Queenbreaker's bow. Queenbreaker's bow in Destiny 2 doesn't feel like a QBB to me. It doesn't feel reminiscent of Destiny 1's QBB because it's a heavy weapon, right? But this weapon really does sort of fill the shoes of the person that, you know, it fills the shoes of the QBB for the person that really enjoyed it in Destiny 1, kind of running around with QBB and getting those precision shots right and left, and not having to wait for power ammo to come up in order for you to use the thing, right? So it feels very reminiscent of QBB. It sort of fills that role that QBB had in Destiny 1 in Destiny 2. So I really like it in that regard, because QBB was a lot of fun to use in Destiny 1 just to run around with, and especially for these up-in-your-face quick kills and quick adjustments. It also kind of fills, right now at least, it sort of fills that void that No Land Beyond left behind. In Destiny 2, we don't really have a close quarters precision one-hit kill weapon, and this sort of fills that slot. Obviously, you have to charge it up. It's a linear fusion, so it's different from No Land in that regard, but the sights are pretty close quarters, and it can really shine in those moments where you have to sort of, and there's a great clip in here on Pantheon, where I get just one precision kill, and then I slide into that main lane. I slide into that main lane on Pantheon. You know what I mean. It's not Pantheon. Whatever. Convergence. Ugh. I slide into that main lane, and there's a guy literally 10 feet in front of me with a shotgun. And I just get this rapid, quick scope drag right onto the guy's head as I'm mid-slide. So I'm still like moving across the lane. I get this quick scope, drag scope on the guy with the Arbalest, and take him out right to the head, and it just felt so clean. And that's something that's really difficult to do with sniper rifles, but it's something that's very reminiscent of what No Land Beyond was capable of doing in Destiny 1. It sort of fills that role too. Obviously, I would love to have No Land back, and if No Land was back, obviously, I would probably put the Arbalest down if I wanted to have that No Land feel. But for the time being, it does sort of fill that role. So that's one of the reasons I really, really like it. It is so good at close quarters, quick scopes, quick adjustments, drag scopes, stuff like that. So I sort of missed that feeling. You don't get a ton of that with sniping in Destiny 2 like you did in Destiny 1. And so that's one of the reasons I'm really jiving well with this gun. A couple of things to note. Inertia override on strikers. So if you're running Code of the Missile and you have inertia override, if you get inertia override active, you slide across some ammo and your buff is active, you can one-shot kill things to the body with Arbalest. So that is possible. So if you're looking for something that you can kind of do some funny, gimmicky, one-hit killing with Arbalest, that's one option that you have. Another option would be the Empowering Rift. The Empowering Rift will let you one-hit kill the body with Arbalest as well. So just some things to keep in mind. So best of luck to you in acquiring this thing. Hope you have a good time. I know Crucible's a little bit chaotic right now, but I did find that in the midst of the mayhem, in the midst of the chaos with all the grenade cooldowns that are happening right now in Crucible, I was still able to see this weapon shine quite a bit today. So I really am anticipating, I'm really looking forward to seeing the clips from people, what they're hitting with this thing, hit Twitter, hit Instagram, hit the forums. I really do enjoy watching those. And yeah, so good luck. Let me know what you think of this gun if you have it yet. If you don't, what are you looking forward to using it for? Do you enjoy using it if you do have it? So what are some of your favorite memories and moments that you've had with it so far? I'd love to hear. Put those in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I do genuinely appreciate it, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.